What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the 2020 Subaru WRX STI. All right, now Subaru's a little more stingy when it comes to redesigns on their performance cars like the WRX. So it's been about 4 or 5 years. I think it was 2015 when they last redesigned it. And before that, it had been another 4 or 5 years between redesigns. So you're not going to see a lot of changes here on the exterior of the vehicle or even on the interior. But we do have a couple new standard features, and the front fascia has been redesigned a little bit. So nothing extreme, but there is a little bit of a design change here. So as you can tell probably from the badging, we are looking at an STI here, but you have two different options, an STI and then the STI Limited. This is the STI Limited, so this is the top trim you can possibly get. Now, everything leading up to the STI trims is going to get the 2.0 liter turbocharged boxer engine, 268 horsepower, 258 pound-feet of torque, 27 miles per gallon highway, 21 miles per gallon city. Now the STI and the STI Limited get the 2.5 liter turbocharged engine, 310 horsepower, 290 pound-feet of torque, 21 miles per gallon highway, 17 miles per gallon city. So definitely a little bit of a change there, a boost in horsepower here on the 2.5 liter. Now, as far as design changes go, like I mentioned, they're a little bit stingier with their design options, but you do have that redesigned front fascia. It's a little bit smaller here with the front grille, Subaru badging, STI badging. You've got LED steering responsive headlights up front here, no fog lights, nothing like that. You got your turn signal indicators down here. You've got these ground effects here. No parking sensors here in the front like we are typically used to seeing on Subarus. You don't find them here on the STI, but you still have some nice safety features. No eyesight either, which is a little disappointing, but this is more of a performance car more so than like a family, like a safe car. Right now, the hood scoop here is a functioning hood scoop. It's not blocked at all. You actually can get air intake from there. Moving on over to the wheels, you've got 19-inch aluminum alloy wheels with the R19 Summer Performance tires, and you've also got those very noticeable bright yellow Brembo brakes here right behind the rims with that STI badging all over it. Moving on over to the mirrors, you've got body color side mirrors here that are heated with blind spot monitoring and an integrated turn signal. Now, one of the things that is new here for 2020 is that you have standard keyless access and remote start on the WRX STI. So no longer is that an upgrade here on the package. They come standard on the STI. So as I just mentioned, keyless access here. Go ahead and put your finger on there to lock and unlock it. Up top, you've got a power tilting and sliding sunroof. As far as performance goes, you've got the Brembo performance braking system, like I mentioned, front and rear limited slip differentials, and driver-controlled center differential. In the back, you've got your standard badging there for the STI. You have split dual chrome exhaust tips. You've got that super huge rear wing there on the back. That's a staple of the STI. But that's everything here on the exterior. Let's hop inside the cabin. All right, now that we're inside the cabin, one of the coolest things I think about the WRX and the STI specifically is how unique the stylings are compared to all the other Subarus that you have. Now, like the steering wheel in every Subaru is exactly the same, always. You know, sometimes there's a different button layout, sometimes there's new buttons and added buttons when they upgrade things, but for the most part, you can look at a steering wheel, even if they take the logo away, and you'll know exactly it's a Subaru steering wheel. Not so with the STI steering wheel. It's got its own very sporty, very like performance-y racing style steering wheel here. It's a little bit thicker. The horn area has been kind of like redesigned. It's more aggressive. The button layout is different. They kind of protrude. They're more three-dimensional. You've got, your controls back here for your different screens. STI badging, you've got some nice accent stitching, aggressive red accent stitching around the steering wheel, leather wrapped as well. Unfortunately, this is not heated, but again, we're talking about performance here. This isn't really about luxury type features. Now, you do have some kind of safety features, like you can turn your blind spot monitoring off, you can turn your traction control off, but really, you're pretty limited on the STI as far as safety features go. Now, if you drop down to just the WRX Limited, not the STI, then you will get eyesight and all your safety features that you're used to seeing, just not here on the STI or STI Limited. So light controls here, wiper controls here, media controls on the left side, adaptive, or it's actually not adaptive, just cruise control on the right side. Moving on over to the gauges, you have the little color display in the center of the gauges that'll give you some vehicle information, not a whole lot, but enough. Then you've got another display up top and this will give you more vehicle information. So you've got your boost PSI, you've got your average miles per gallon, average acceleration, that kind of stuff. You can see what angle your vehicle's at, miles per gallon, how many miles left on your tank, temperature, clock, all that kind of stuff. And it's kind of got a very sporty element to it, which you should expect. Moving on down, you've got a 7-inch infotainment center here. This is just your typical Subaru infotainment center. This WRX Limited has navigation built in, so you've got their mapping built in, powered by TomTom, all that good stuff. Phone, Bluetooth, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Subaru Starlink, Pandora, TravelLink, AHA. You can connect your My Subaru app. You can add shortcuts. You can look at your radio, your Sirius XM radio, that kind of stuff. And then you can do media, which is just like your aux cord and Bluetooth and a disc, because you do have a CD player still here in the WRX Limited, still CD players. One thing I never talk about when I make these infotainment overviews on any vehicle is the shortcuts option. And the shortcuts option is actually very, very handy and can be really useful and save a lot of time, especially if you use Subaru's actual system more so than, say, Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. So briefly, how shortcuts work. You go ahead and hit Add Shortcut, and then you get a list of all the different applications that it can be used in. So let's go ahead and do a shortcut for media. And then you can change it and add one to, say, go to the aux screen, go to the CD screen, go to the iPod screen, go to the USB screen, go to the Bluetooth screen. So let's go ahead and add the aux one. So now if we swipe over to a different page, you've got a shortcut that will take you directly to the aux menu. So if you're someone that uses the aux port regularly, that's how you listen to music, or that's how you listen to audiobooks or podcasts, and you always plug your phone in, you don't have to do 2 taps or 3 taps to get to it. You just want to click right there on the home screen. Boom. You just push it. Additionally, you can add something like, let's do map, and let's do favorite destinations on the screen. So if you go ahead and add that, you can just push that and it'll take you immediately to your different favorite destinations. So if you use the built-in navigation system a lot, super, super quick and easy to get right to those things you use most often using shortcuts. So that's a really cool feature. I hardly ever mention it just because I don't know how many people use built-in infotainment centers. I'd love, if you do use built-in infotainment center and you're more of a Starlink type user, like a heavy power user, drop in the comments below. I'd love to get a kind of a feel for how many people use that regularly. But in my Subaru, I mostly just use Apple CarPlay, if anything. So that is the 7-inch infotainment center. Now, supposedly in 2021, we're going to get a refresh, and I wouldn't be surprised if they added the long 11.6-inch display in here. Not saying I'm a fan of it necessarily, but I just wouldn't be surprised if on their top trim level, the most expensive Subaru you can buy, well, almost the most expensive Subaru you can buy. The Ascent Touring may be the most expensive you can buy, but not by much. It's very close to this. And I'm not talking about the limited edition S209 either. That's a whole different category there. Now, to pair with that infotainment center, you do have the Harman Kardon 9-speaker audio system, which is super sweet to have. Moving on down, you've got dual zone climate control, so you can adjust everything right there, sync it up, change the mode, all that kind of stuff. Moving on down, you've got a single 12-volt outlet underneath, no USB ports at all right here underneath. There's a nice little pocket where you can put your phone, keys, all that kind of stuff. STI badging again. Now you've got a leather-wrapped 6-speed manual transmission right here. This one actually has the short throw shift knob on it as well, with the really nice red accent stitching all the way around, a little red cap here on top. It looks really nice. You also have this kind of leather portions here running down the side by the shift knob. Everything really blends together very nicely. Moving on down, you've got your SI drive control, so you can change it from sport to sport sharp, and then I for the intelligent mode. And then you've got your driver controlled center differential that I mentioned earlier. The control for that is right here. No electronic parking brake, just standard manual parking brake. Cup holders here. You've got your heated seat options here for the driver and passenger seat. Now under the center console here, you've got another 12-volt outlet, you've got your aux cord input, and then you have 2 USB-A ports as well. Not a whole lot of room in there, mind you, but it does exist. And then you can use this button and pick it up and move it forward if you want it up a little higher. So that's kind of cool. It's a little hard to control though. You almost have to do it with 2 hands, but that's that. Now, as far as seating options go, you've got the Recaro Performance Design seats here. They are a 2-tone seat and 2 materials as well. So you've got this leather trimmed option here on the side, and then this suede center portions. Very comfortable, bolstered, very, very sturdy. They really keep you in place, and they're two-tone, like I mentioned. So you've got the STI badging, the Recaro badging, and then you've got the red trim with the red stitching on some of the leather trimmed parts. On the ultra suede parts, you just have gray accent stitching. But really cool looking seats, very, very sporty. I like them a lot, they're very comfortable. Now, as far as other design elements inside the cabin, you do have, like I mentioned, that red accent stitching. It's on the steering wheel, it's on the shift knob, it's on the side of the shift knob, it's on the seats, it's on these leather pieces up top around your different screen options. You've got this ultra suede as well as the red accent stitching over on the door panels as well. All over the place, it looks very, very clean. Other than that, it's pretty simple. So you don't have a lot of like flash going on. There's just some simple glossy black pieces along with the soft touch kind of rubbery material throughout the cabin. So not a whole lot of like premium look to it other than the red accent stitching on the leather type material. But up top, you've got an auto dimming rear view mirror with the universal garage door home link controls and a compass, as well as up top, you've got dome lights here, LED dome lights with your sunroof controls and your SOS button as well. Now, as I mentioned, your front seats are heated. They're also, the driver is an 8-way power adjustable and the passenger is just a manually adjustable seat, so nothing too fancy there. Now, one more thing I wanted to mention before we hop back outside is you get these really cool red seat belts. Now, they're not like aggressively red. They're just this really subtle, kind of like maroon color. They match perfectly with the seats and the accent stitching, but they're just super cool. I love colored seat belts. I think they just add a whole nother element to the sportiness of the car. Now, things are pretty limited in the back. Not that you don't have a lot of leg room, headroom, shoulder room, all that kind of stuff. You just don't have a lot of ports back there. There's no USB access, so you might want to get maybe like a splitter or some extended cords if you're going to want to, travel in this thing at all. All right, guys, and that is everything here on the 2020 WRX STI Limited. Drop a like on the video if you loved it. Tell me in the comments down below, what's your favorite performance feature? What's your favorite sporty accent here on the STI? And don't forget to hit that subscribe button to be among the first to see our full review on every single Subaru model as soon as it hits our lots. We'll see you in the next one.